Thank you very much for listening to this week's talk on the Sedra of Vayigash, which is the 11th Sedra in the Book of Bereshis, the penultimate Sedra. And we're dedicating this learning to the speedy and safe release of all of the hostages in Gaza, still 100 remaining incarcerated there, and the safety and success of all of the soldiers of the IDF as they continue to undertake dangerous missions to try to free the hostages with God's help and to protect the land of Israel and the people of Israel. And the Sedra of Vayigash is an incredible visual example of zoom in, zoom out. And Yosef Hatzadik gives us the tools to be able to do this. And if we start with the opening word of the Sedra, and the opening concept, really, because this is the Sedra that describes the very emotional reconciliation of Yosef with his brothers, and Yosef reveals himself to his brothers, and all of the ensuing conversations that take place. And we have Vayigash Elav Yehuda at the opening of the Sedra, chapter 44, verse 18. And this is zooming in. We have intimacy that was missing over all of these decades. First of all, their young years growing up, when there was animosity between the brothers, and then this separation since Yosef is 17 years old and he's kidnapped by his brothers and sent down to Egypt. And we've got now zooming in, drawing close. And on one interpretation, actually, of this is that Yehuda was actually being intimidating. He was, according to a medrash, he was saying to Yosef, if you don't release our brother, if you continue to behave like this, then I am going to attack you, which sounds really counterintuitive, because Yosef is the one who's in the position of power. So here we have the zooming in, and there's almost an unbearable sense of suspense and sudden closeness that takes place between the brothers. And there is a medrash that was quoted by the Lubavitcher Rebbe in one of his sichos on the Sedra of Vayigash. And this medrash calls Yosef the provider. Hashem leads his people in the manner of Yosef. So really, Yosef is getting the ultimate compliment, that Hashem is following the example of Yosef as how to lead one's people, how to behave as a leader. And there, sort of as a way of expounding on this medrash, the Lubavitcher Rebbe continues, Yaakov lived on the highest plane of spiritual existence, but Yosef translated spiritual reality into material terms. And the quote is, just as Yosef provided for each according to his deeds, may Hashem sustain us according to our deeds. And Rabbi Menachem added, just as Yosef's brothers acted badly towards him, but he repaid them with good, so we act badly towards you, referring to Hashem, and may you bestow good on us in return. So Yosef is being held up as the ultimate role model of a leader, and more than that his openness of heart, his willingness to look away from the way that he was treated and still act in a positive way to those very people who caused him such pain. And this does not mean becoming a doormat, letting people take advantage of you and abuse you. I think what Yosef Hatzadik is doing is the ultimate zoom out. And we can see it clearly in the words of the Sedra a bit later on. And this is chapter 45, verse 8. I'll go to verse 7. Vayisholcheni Elohim lifnechem losum lochem. And God sent me ahead of you to ensure your survival, she'eris ba'aretz, in the land, as survival in the land, ulahachayos lochem lifleto gadola, and to sustain your family for the great salvation that they're going to need. Va'ata, and now, lo atem shalachtem osi hena. It was not you who sent me here. Ki Elohim, but Elohim, referring to Hashem in his capacity as Midas Hadin, as behaving in a way that is consistent with justice. Vayisimeni la'ov lefaro la'odo l'chol beso. He made me an advisor to Pharaoh and a master of all of his household, umoshel b'chol eretz Mitzrayim, and a ruler over the entire land of Egypt. With these words, Yosef Hatzadik, he earns the title Yosef Hatzadik, and I think that this has to be, if not the top reason why, one of the, because he is doing the ultimate zoom out. He's looking at the tangled history until this point between him and his brothers. And he is seeing that his brothers are, they said in last week's Seder of Miketz, Ashemim anachnu, we are guilty. They are feeling the burden of the guilt of their actions, and it is weighing them down. They are prisoners. They may have imprisoned Yosef in this pit and then sold him into slavery with the loss of liberty that incurred. But actually, they are the ones who are the prisoners. And Yosef is saying to them, he is zooming so far out that he is as close as one can get to the oneness of Hashem, to this concept of Ein Od Milvado. There is none beside Hashem. Everything that has transpired is because of Hashem's plan. And everything that you thought you were doing to harm me actually has turned out to be for the benefit of everybody concerned. And really, if that is something that we can absorb in our lives, and that doesn't mean it takes away from our capacity to achieve, from our individual capabilities. What it does is empower us to the ultimate degree, because we are understanding that nobody can take anything away from me that Hashem wants me to have. Nobody can cause me any harm, because Hashem is going to orchestrate things in such a way that it's going to turn out to be for my benefit. And this is really a way of thinking that if we are able to tune into, whether it's our personal lives, whether it's looking at the global, a communal situation or the global situation, the challenges that we are facing now, and really to see that the hand of Hashem is working in mysterious ways. Just like Yosef, he starts off in a place of shock and horror, and he is able to literally pull himself out of this very deep pit. And similarly, with his example, then we are able to do the same in our lives. And as we go towards the month of Shabbat, Tuesday and Wednesday this week are the last day of Kislev, first day of Teves, and we're leaving the festival of Hanukkah behind us, but we don't have to leave the message, the historical message of the survival of Am Yisrael, and the continuing message of our survival in the most miraculous way. When I'm looking at the news, the amount of detail that comes out that really shows us how many miracles are taking place as the land of Israel, the people of Israel, the IDF continue this war for our survival, and we can see the miracles that are happening, the way Hashem is protecting us, and the evil intentions of our enemies are, when we have Hashem's protection, they are unable to harm us in any way. But an even bigger picture than that is to see that really Hashem is in charge. He is channeling everything. It is for us to see that hand of Hashem, to feel his presence in our lives. And you look at Yosef Hatzadik and how he shines in this week's Sedra, and how he's teaching us that by sometimes zooming in as we need to do, but then zooming out, seeing the biggest picture possible, which is the ultimate oneness of Hashem. And in this way, going forward to make ourselves better people and the world a better place. Thank you very much for listening. Wishing everybody Chodesh Tov and Shabbat Shalom.